Let me know if you hear it now.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Think and Trade LLC makes no investment recommendations and does not provide financial, tax, or legal advice. Content and tools are provided for educational and informational purposes only. Any stock options or future symbols displayed are for illustrative purposes only and are not intended to portray a recommendation to buy or sell a particular security. Products and services intended for U.S. customers and may not be available or offered in other jurisdictions. Online trading has inherent risk, system response, and access times that may vary due to market conditions, system performance, volume, and other factors. Options and futures involve risk and are not suitable for all investors. Please read characteristics and risks of standardized options and risk disclosure statements for futures and options prior to trading, which is also available by calling 888-280-8020 or live. An investor should understand these and additional risks before trading.
Hey, make sure that if you're going to trade, that you understand the risk. Today, what we had was at least in the Dow market, we had an up and down area in the market. One of the things that's beginning to affect the market for this week's are the things that are happening within the week. We've got a pretty busy week scheduled. The S&P was down 36, Dow was up, then back down 98 points. You can see the Nasdaq was down 133. I want you to keep an eye on this though. Gold. If you're looking to make some money right now, gold has been on a uproar. Even after you see it bottom out a first part of the morning, you can see how it trended right back up. One of the reasons why gold is moving in such a great way is the tariffs that are uh, being announced, and I think there's supposed to be some new tariffs that are supposed to be implemented sometime this week, as well as some other issues that are what I call the undercurrents or what happening in the stock market. We've got a number of different countries, not just talking about using Brexit, but we also have a number of countries who are seeking some other alternative to the dollar, which is really causing some major concerns in the financial arena that the dollar may not always be, or it is appears not to be the predominant trading for many countries now, and that people are trying to come up with an alternative. This week, we've got a very busy week. The Fed's decision, they're going to come out on Wednesday. Chairman Powell is going to decide if there's going to be a rate cut or not. They say it's about a 97% chance, no rate cut. Then they're going to be listening to his speech, as you know, on Wednesday about 2:30, I believe it is, 2 or 2:30. They'll listen to see whether he's hawkish or dovish on the market. Pretty much he's concerned, from what I understand, about the tariffs, despite the things that are happening in DC with him and those that are in charge, is really him moving forward regardless of what people thinks. Much uncertainty about the actual policies that are put into place when it comes to tariffs. And then the question is, how do you prepare for such a sudden shift in the economic outlook? Well, in addition to that, this week, we've got 17 major companies reporting. If you are trading options, this is one of the areas. If you are a high risk taker, I'll say it that way. If you have some background on a particular company, you can look in and decide whether you want to trade the upside or the downside of a particular company, because when these reports come in, the stocks will either move up or move down. The biggest problems that I see is that people are starting to really tighten up the purses just a little bit. So you want to be careful there. One of the areas I think will drop, though, is Disney. Some of the plans that they have they've decided to back off of them. I think their future outlook will also be a little bit more reserved, as when the economy becomes shaky, people will vacation, but not as much. they'll start to instead of going from, for example, from Ohio to Florida to Disney. I know my family up north, they're now going local to something like a Kings Island, which is only, a couple hours away from their hometown from Columbus down to Cincinnati. So you'll start to see certain things happen. But there's 18 companies out there. If you want to check them out, go out. You can grab this on earnings.com. You'll find out which all the companies are reporting. And I think the biggest ones are coming out Wednesday through Friday. That's what I just said. If you're trading calls or puts, I didn't want to get into those tonight. I wanted to touch a couple other areas and touch on a couple of things. So calls and puts, you can look at those particular 18 that are out there. And if you want to take a quick snapshot of any of these, you can grab that snapshot and begin to look them up. And here's a good 6 or 7 stocks that you can look up and start to position yourself to trade calls or puts. The other thing is the tariff deadline that is adopting to the global trade shift. There was the original April 9th cutoff. This week is the final arrival of those ships that are coming into port. From what I'm understanding, is out in California. There's not a whole lot of activity at the ports, which is causing some concern. So we'll see how those things carry out. And another 1.45% tariffs are now in effect. So once again, we must ask ourselves, how do you respond to these changing trade policies? These particular things, it's going to cause the market to keep this roller coaster ride, where last week we had a very interesting and positive end of the week. And then this week it started up, and then it has tapered off from what you can see. One of the things in our new research that we're finding is there are certain stocks that appear, and I say appear because we have to, stay with the research side of it, to be giving out some really great dividends. I actually spotted about 50 companies that are giving some really steady and good dividends. I wanted to talk about this one. I guess it's pronounced Radan Group. This particular stock has a return, a 1-year return of about 13.9%. I know, oh, I can't call her name right now. I know she's online too. She's going to get me for this. I can't think of her first name. But she trades dividends and she's building this portfolio. And so I started doing some research into that. So I'm going to be talking from not every week, but from week to week. I want to begin to talk about dividends and how you can continue like her to build that portfolio, so that if you're looking to have 1,000 to 4,000, whatever your number is in a dividend group of stocks, that you can begin to look and start building up your nest egg so that you can build a portfolio in those stocks. I'm starting to look at some for me, myself, as I'm starting to think about my grandchildren and how I want the grandchildren to begin to have some leftover residue from what grandpa is doing on this end, as well as the things that are moving forward. So here, if you're looking for a dividend stock, I would jot this particular company down. Do your research. Don't just jump into anything. Do your research. But look at this. Over a 5-year period, this stock has gave up 22.65%. That's some excellent returns. 13.09% on the 1-year side. I'll say it again. I copied this earlier in the day, and look at gold up $83.30 when I jotted this down. I don't know where it landed out at the end of the day, but $83 move in a particular stock. Now, for those who are trading at that level, it's nothing wrong with getting 1 or 2 shares, picking up on two shares, 160 some dollars, pocket in some money. That's only a 2.5% move. I like when a stock moves up, take some profits, wait for it to drop, jump back in, and repeat and rinse and repeat on a cycle like that over and over. As I have been sitting on the sideline really for about 6 months, maybe even longer than that, maybe close to a year now, just buying here and there. I am starting to really put money back in the market. And I tell you, there's a negotiation deal that's supposed to take place on this Friday. Don't know how that's going to turn out between China and the U.S. If they can come to some type of agreement, some type of balance, you will see some influx of money come back into the market. But that doesn't mean that we're out of the woods in some other areas, but there will be a major increase. So we got the Feds on reporting on Wednesday. We got 18 companies that are big major companies that are reporting throughout this week on earnings. And then we got gold that's running up. And if there is no agreement, then you can look for gold to take an even bigger spike than what it has right there. Hey, as I finish up, I got a couple of more items here. I've been working on an AI piece, and one of it is what type of penny stock trader are you? If you're trading penny stocks, I'm going to drop at the end when I get to the Q&A. I'm going to drop a link in there. If you'd like to take our quiz, please feel free. If you want to share it with someone else, hey, it's nothing to it. It's about 4 or 5 questions. And inside that particular system that you'll be trading in, there's a couple of gifts at the end. So hopefully those things may interest some to get in. Here's a link. I'm going to drop this link in the chat box at the end. And I think you'll find it fun and interesting to see where you really land in a particular trading scenario when it comes to trading penny stock. Last, we have penny stock here. It's called micro algo. Now, when I done the research on this, I noticed that this stock between March and April had generally an explosive move of 1,100%. That's huge. Right now, the stock is what we call a low float stock, and it has more shares out than it has let me see if I can pronounce. Let me see if I can say this right. You got to remember this when we start talking about stocks. A company issues so many shares. So many shares are inside the company, and when you hear about it, you'll hear something. You may say there's some insider trading going on, not illegal, but insider trading going on from a company perspective. That means that the CEO has sold X amount of shares. Then the second part of shares are the shares that are allotted to us as individuals to buy. That's the shares you see on this screen right here, 797,000, almost 800,000 shares. Then you have a third block of shares, which are some people call them counterfeit shares, some people call them phantom shares. They are shares that hedge funds loan out that are supposed to have shares backing them. However, hedge fund operators have a tendency of loaning out more shares than they can get in, which causes a particular company to have excess shares, and it creates a position for what they call a short squeeze. This particular stock has a low float of about 800,000. It has additional shares out in its company, more than it should have, which over the past year at least has caused this stock to explode in between March and April. Now, I noticed that we are already in May. It did not explode yet. There's no, what do you want to say, succinct timing. But I have noticed that this stock has been up on an up climb. I didn't capture the whole screen, but if you want to go back 4 or 5 days, the stock was up, it dropped back down, but now you can see the power and the momentum of it coming back into this stock. Here, I think, is an opportunity for penny stock traders to get in. You don't have to get in at a lot. This stock is already broke above its 50 and its 200-day moving average right now is setting on its 50-day moving average, as you can see right here. If this stock continues to climb, it should have a really nice ride to the upside, a chance to get in, get 50 cents, 75 cents on the dollar, and jump out, stick some profits in your pocket, and move on. And I want to know, as I prepare my research from time to time, what is it you would like to talk about? And as I come to this Q&A, I want to find out, what is there trading you want to talk about? You want to talk about uh, different ways to research? What is it you would like to discuss so that we can have more of an informed group as we were moving? I plan to be on every week. Now I'll be on every week except for 2 weeks in June when my wife and I will take a couple weeks off to celebrate our anniversary. But besides that, I plan to be right here on a weekly basis unless something else pops up. I want to get back on track. I want to start to build this group again and see, can we get a serious powerhouse group of people coming together, sharing ideas, not just me, but a group of people sharing ideas to build a strong financial community amongst ourselves. And hopefully, I'm sure that we can do that. I'm going to save this one slide till last, is I'm
Penny
going to
stock.
take a moment and I'm going to open up for any questions that anyone might have right now. And okay, let me see if I can get back where I was and see what people are thinking and what your thoughts are. Hey, the microphones are now open. Let's take any questions you might have. What is it that you would like to discuss or talk about? Don't be shy. Anyone?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I enjoyed and would like to. I don't know if it's the class that you have to pay for or not, but you were going through the software of Thinkorswim and
Yeah.
familiarizing us with MACD and all the verbiage that goes with watch lists and trading. If you don't trade for a little while, at least for me, I have a hard time remembering what goes where, um, how to set it up. It doesn't stay set up for whatever reason. For me, it doesn't, at least. But for me, I would like to uh, learn the charting, reading charts. Now I know you did a class, so if that class is fee based, then I get it. But if it's not something that we can use on this platform, I think it would be very helpful because I have a lot of people that want to learn how to do it.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I'll start teaching on some charting setups and some of the back things that are within inside the chart that help us gain an advantage as we trade. I'll work on that. And I also look into, I'm building a resource file now uh, of a number of videos and stuff that we've done and putting some things together. And those things are free to access. So I'll make sure you get some as well as the training. Great. Anyone else?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
would like to,
Yeah.
yeah, I would like to for you to continue like on the dividend stocks because I got two granddaughters now, so I'm kind of thinking about them as terms of the future. So the dividend stocks because I started investing some dividend stocks. So if you can kind of continue that, I would sure appreciate it.
Okay. I'll try to share some and try to make sure that I get out there and share them at least once or every other week. I'm trying to mix it all up, and I'm trying to keep this down to like a 30-minute meeting just so everybody know. Um, Unless there's some specific something you want me to deal with, I'm going to try to keep it down, brief and short. We come together. Hopefully, it'll be an effective meeting. We learn something or gain something from one another and move on. I got that down. Dividend stocks. Amelia will be happy with those. Barbara would be really happy with those. I couldn't think of her name earlier. All right, I got one more piece I'm going to share, and it's called protecting your assets. Protecting your, let me make sure I got the title right, your capital, your assets. I'm going to share this one last piece, and then we'll be done for tonight. Let me pull it up. Oh, no, I said I got to drop this in the chat, don't I? Let me drop this link in the chat. A little fun link, something different. Hey, check us out. One of our little AI bots working. I'm going to share my screen here. And James, if you could, please tell me if you could see that one screen with finally protecting your capital. That capital is up. For anybody that's there can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, let's roll.
Penny stock traders, protecting your capital. Here's an important lesson. Bad trades don't just cost money, they cost emotional capital. Every time you force a trade, chase a setup, or justify a questionable play, you chip away at your mental edge. Frustration builds, mistakes multiply, and before you know it, you're revenge trading and digging a hole. Smart traders don't just know what to trade, they know what to avoid. So the next time you see a sketchy stock spiking on weak news, with high float and bag holders all over the chart, don't fall for it. Skip it. Protect your capital. Save your energy for better setups. Because sometimes the best trade of the day is no trade at all.
Hey, how about that? As we say, sometimes not trading is trading. And what? It's the best trade of all. So be careful with your capital. Make sure that you wisely invest and take advantage of what that market has to give. When you have an opportunity to take some profits off the table, don't be shy. Take some money off the table, stick it in your pocket. Until next time, I say peace, love, and what? Continue to stack that money. See you next week. Peace. Love y'all.